matchup.
I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. F- it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Hey, y'all, this is Ryan Monceaux, and this is the Talking About Them Cougars podcast from GoCoogs.com. That's Brad Towns, Galen somewhere. He'll be here in just a minute. And welcome to our Sweet 16 special, A Night of Exciting Whites. We are going to talk about Purdue. We're going to go back and talk about Gonzaga a little bit, talk about some of these Sweet 16 matchups. And I want to get into the NIL, the Players Era Festival, going to, I don't know, like 150 teams and blowing up the start of the college basketball season. Brad Towns, what do you know? What do you got?
I don't have Star Pizza. And
Uh-oh.
I wish I did have Star Pizza.
That's an error.
Yeah, I fell on my sword. I figured if I got Star Pizza and I had it before the show, then I'd probably fall asleep during the show.
Accurate.
So I just had to pass on it, but I'm gonna save up because I got to make sure I carb up the night before, so then we're good to go. But they definitely hit the spot. They support us, so we got to support them, and I got to make sure I'm Houston strong.
Okay. Friday night. The game's at 9:10, 9:09. You got to get your Star Pizza before that game. I have access to it. Maybe I can get on a plane tomorrow and go to Indianapolis. The weather looks fine, so maybe I'll be in
right now. I mean, it'll probably be nothing but ice,
twisters and ice. Yeah, but I'll be in Indianapolis. Won't have the access to Star Pizza, but you need it. So go get you some Star Pizza Friday night for the game, and then you have it all day Saturday if you don't pull a Towns and eat it all. Feeling a little more reasonable, less alcohol, but still beyond confident. Bring it, Purdue. Go Cougs. The grandkids, Dominic and Damian, are watching. And I'll be watching from Cabo. Okay, well, that's 1 for Connor, 0 for me.
Definitely won't have to worry about ice there.
I hope not. I think that global warming is real, though.
I'm looking forward to this, man. I'm looking forward to yet another Sweet 16.
Do you ever get bored of it?
It's kind of a habit now, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
no, I don't get bored of it. And the funny thing is that I know that there are fan bases out there who have thought to themselves and said it amongst themselves that I'm kind of over this. We need to national title or bust.
Some U of H fans feel that way, and
well, I can understand the thought because it's natural. It's a natural progression, but I think most of us here kind of understand, what can happen. I tell you, before the Gonzaga game, the night before, up until the night before, I was supremely confident. And then I was laying down about to go to sleep, and I'm like, we really could fucking lose this tomorrow. Gonzaga's really good. Mark Few is really, really good. And I was uneasy the entire time from then all up until game time. And even when we had a big lead, I was like, God, step on the gas. Let's go. We got to get this to 25. But I was terrified of that game. Right now, I'm not terrified of the Purdue game.
Okay.
I liked the matchup against Gonzaga because it was a different styles, styles make fights. But against Purdue, I am feeling a lot more confident. And the difference between the two in my mind is just the athleticism. The athleticism between the two teams. As far I'm talking about Gonzaga, I would put us closer towards what they faced against McNeese, except a lot better. And McNeese gave them hell on defense. If McNeese could actually score, that looks pretty different. And we can do that. We're better defensively. We're better offensively. I just think our quickness and length is something that they're going to, unless they're playing with 7 people, then I don't think it's something they can replicate.
Could be 8.
They're in for a shock.
Okay. Something that I found a little not surprising, kind of funny, is that these are the national assist leaders. And right there, Gonzaga, your last game, Friday night, number 2, Purdue, Braden Smith. And potentially Sunday is Ziegler from Tennessee. You could face 3 of the 4 top assist guys in the country in a 3-game span. That's wild. That doesn't happen. NCAA did not do you any favors with this bad boy here. But we'll get more into the Purdue game at 8:30 when Jayme Hollingsworth joins us, our scouting guy, to break it all down. Visiting the folks to see this game, watching from my dorm room. The weird thing is he's 43 years old and watching from his dorm room.
Hey, that's Houston.
Yep. We just want a title in something, not a single title since 1985. May it'll be 40 years since your last golf title, which is.
Hey, when I looked at the path to a potential title this year, I figure if we're going to win it, it might as well be the hardest ever. That just kind of fits U of H. I mean, it's got to be the absolute toughest draw that you could possibly get. And turns out if everything goes chalk, I mean, it doesn't even have to at this point anymore. I mean, with where what Tennessee and Kentucky are, but you're going to have the toughest road in the history of college basketball to get to a Final Four and to win a title. And that's not even taking in consideration that you're playing this bitch 90 miles away from Purdue and 200 miles away from Kentucky.
Yeah. 160 miles, I think, from Lexington.
The game.
What's going on, man?
Just landed
How
in
you
Florida.
feel?
Nothing like being in the South.
You can taste the air.
Man, taste the humidity.
Mm-hmm.
So what y'all talk about, man?
The U of H needs a white point guard. That's what's holding U of H back?
Yeah.
A 6-foot white point guard.
I ain't gonna lie though, he's tough.
He's a legit player.
He's tough. They're like very top heavy. They have like a top 3, and then there's like a kind of a big drop off in production of those 3 guys. But their point guard, he's he's the head of the snake. If we're able to contain him and limit his productivity, then this is a game I can see us winning if we play to, play to our identity. But the key is if you stop him, you stop everything. And usually, I think Purdue, they're usually a multi-dimensional team, whereas like they have a pretty good big, pretty good guards. They can they're usually more like us, where they can kind of hurt you in multiple ways, but it's kind of more, that their guard, he makes everything go for them.
And I just told Brad we're going to talk more about that at 8:30 with Jayme Hollingsworth, who's got the scout. Casey Beard is scouting this game for the Cougs. Bigs knows bigs. Galen, what did you think about Gonzaga and what you saw this weekend?
I thought it was. I always believe that it's best to where you can learn from winning this time of year, because that game was more so of a scare. And it was like that could have been a game that very much ended your season, which you were able to weather the storm and you were able to, come out victorious, and you can watch that film and saw what you didn't do well. Granted, I didn't watch the full game, but we had ample time to put that team away, but we let them in the game, and because we let go of the road. But also that's a testament to Gonzaga, because that's a championship program. They have a championship culture. So there was no way that team was going to lay down. So that was exactly the test that we needed going into a game that's against a team that's damn near playing the home game. So
yeah,
that was exactly what we needed.
Brad?
What do you want me to?
I don't know. How about our guy, our friend, Ron Hunter, getting the job at North Texas?
He left.
He left Tulane for Denton, which means he knew that he was on a short leash. Yeah. And I mean, he had a good team this year, but they should have been better than they were.
It's an interesting.
But he'll get to go reinvent himself and get 4 years.
You know what's crazy?
From North Texas.
You know what's crazy though? Like how we can read between the lines of a coach, like making a certain decision. It's like, yeah, you left this because you about to get fired, brother. Like it's you beat it. Like, like that's kind of crazy. Wow. That's interesting.
Their last two, I guess, was McCaslin, and now they've gone with the up and comers. I wonder if this is hey, we want someone who said they'll be here forever.
And who literally will. Just keep paying him and he'll stay. It'll be interesting to see what Tulane does if they go from their staff, Ray McCallum, or go somewhere else down the line.
Galen, did you get to look much at that game against Gonzaga?
Yeah, I watched a decent amount. I just feel like it came down to we have no problems starting off a game. It's just once the team receives our initial punch and they respond, we think that teams won't respond for whatever reason, but they always will, let alone the tournament. And it's just like,
right.
I feel like they had a great game plan, of course, but they just weathered our surges well. They were able to continue to make plays, and they had good players. And it's like, like I said, when his seasons and his career is on the line, you're going to see what he's made of. And that program is worthy of all the notoriety and praise that Coach Sam gave him. That's a championship program. So it's like I said, it doesn't matter how the game is won in March, as long as we're still playing and they're at home. And that was a very prideful group, a prideful coaching staff that you sent home. So that's all that matters. Regardless of whatever went wrong, whatever went right, it's hearsay. We're still alive. We're still marching.
when you're in a situation where you have a big change of momentum, like when we get the technical, that I mean, the score changed dramatically, and the game tempo or the game, I guess, momentum shifted quite a bit from there on. How, as a player, how do you get control of that? How do you kind of weather through that?
I'd say that all starts with Coach Sampson creating that same adversity in practice. There's not a situation or a scenario that our guys encounter in a game that they haven't already rehearsed or prepared for in practice. So, we prepare for the scout team and the starters. Coach Sampson will put like a great obstacle in front of the starters that they have to overcome, and the scout team is playing, and it's just it's, you think that it's interesting, man. Is our guys go through all of this stuff, so it might look amazing or it might look whatever the case it may look on TV, but it's like our guys, they are prepared for these moments. And when you got great leadership, you got the winningest program and the winningest guy in program history, and Jayme, he's the guy that's accustomed to winning. He's seen all stages. You got a guy who's won a national championship. So you have all that you need to weather all types of adversity. So it's more so about just whenever they make their run, just staying together and staying composed, because they're going to go on their run and then you're going to go on yours.
Right. I got to ask you also, because I'm actually kind of glad you weren't here for the game. We got to ask about the press. And what I want to ask you is, when you see the press coming up, especially the way Gonzaga was doing it, they were trapping little over half court.
It was right. Court. They were trying to use a half court line and a sideline as extra defenders.
Now, when you see that, tell me what you're seeing, and then what's your kind of keys and reads on that.
Because they were in kind of a zone press, it's a little funny. So in order to beat a zone press, you got to attack it. But we were trying to wait. We were trying to use clock, and also it's like if teams are pressing, it's best to try to get the ball to the center of the floor. That way, like, you have a multitude of options. Whereas if you're on the right quadrant, and you got the sideline and half court right behind you, you got two defenders, and also you're getting trapped. So it's four people guarding you essentially. Whereas if you're at half court, it's only three, and you have multiple outlets. So I said the best way to attack to beat a press is to attack it, but there's context in that, because a lot of times teams press because they know that time isn't on their side. So they know the team that they're pressing, they aren't trying to attack it. They know they're trying to waste time. So I wouldn't say it's an issue with us attacking a press. It's more so the context, which means that we're not trying to score. We're trying to waste time, and that's what Gonzaga took advantage of.
What'd you call them?
Spokane and Gonzaga. My bad.
Okay, Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Aga. Yeah. Don't want to get ridiculed like the GoCoogs intern.
Yeah,
the good thing is that I wasn't wrong in my explanation, because it was similar, except not as great.
Right.
Yeah.
I went to football practice yesterday morning, and one of the dads of one of the assistant coaches, coached for 30 some odd years, and he stopped me and he looked at my shirt and saw, my GoCoogs shirt. He was like, "Why can't they get the ball to the middle in that press?" I'm like, I didn't know the guy. I've never talked to him. But, he immediately identified this issue. He said, get the ball in the middle of the court. Just a ball coach.
The funny thing is when you're running a zone press, let's say it's a 1-2, 1-1, and all zone presses, they have a defender in the middle.
Right.
So you can't get the ball there. And that's the tricky part. So that's why that's why it causes so many issues. Especially if you're trying to waste time instead of trying to score.
Yeah. Do you think it's a bigger deal to see it in this late game situation than, like, say, Memphis when y'all played them and they were going up and down the floor with you?
Yeah,
it's a lot easier to see it and practice for it, right?
I mean, of course, because in practice it's a controlled setting, but whereas Memphis, they kind of did it the whole game.
Right.
So you knew what to expect. There was a level of familiarity with it, and it didn't really catch you off guard because when you're playing in the first half and even early in the second half, you're attacking the press to score to try to create an advantage. Whereas against Gonzaga, that wasn't the case. They started pressing whenever they got desperate. So you weren't able to get a good feel for the press break. And also, you weren't trying to score points because you had the lead. You were trying to waste time. So there were different objectives.
Call me Kevin one more time. That's what this whole thing where it started was. The guy that hosted those press conferences called Kevin on whatever day that was before the game. I'm so lost on days. Wednesday. And he kind of gave him the side eye. And then when Joseph said Gonzaga wrong, that was his sort of passive aggressive way of dealing with it. We have a solution for the Tulane job. Rodney Terry is looking for work.
That wouldn't be a bad
There
hire.
you go.
That guy they said Rodney Terry he was a coach at Texas for 3 years?
Yeah.
3 years, 3 tournament appearances and fired. That's crazy. That is fucking wild. That is
but
wild.
It wasn't enough. It's just not enough. And the fan interest is completely
and
not
that's
there.
why it's like what is Texas's expectations?
More.
But I'm saying, like, you want Final Fours every, like.
Well, whatever you say, a Texas fan is going to say more.
Well, I think it's not the fact that, I mean, their 2 appearances in the last 2 years, they only made the tournament because they had quality losses.
Yes.
So I mean, they finished middle of the pack, right around 500 in the Big 12 and then in the SEC. You know, Texas is they're going to spend a hell of a lot in NIL. They spend a hell of a lot on staff and support and everything within that program. They just have, I mean, the bar's higher there.
But why?
I mean, that's just part of it.
But it's like, what have you done to have such a high bar?
Well, that I agree with, but that doesn't mean there's
what I'm
not.
saying? It's like what have y'all done to have this high of a standard?
And they just hired a coach that hasn't.
Time out. Hey, Ryan, did you hear that from Towns? It was silence. There's nothing. They haven't done nothing to have a high bar.
He's a secret Longhorn supporter, is what he is.
No. I love the fact that they got rid of Barnes, and he's just been killing it, Tennessee.
Well, they got rid of Shaka Smart, and what did he do?
Went and killed. So it's like there's one common denominator.
Yeah. Well, Sean Miller's going to fix all that because he has gotten, I think, 3 wins in the tournament in a decade. So he'll fix that. You can trust him. Sweeping them last year was glorious. Okay.
Definitely was.
Whatever. All right. We're going to add our exciting white.
What up, big dog?
Good to see
What's
you, man.
up, fellas? Yes.
The life, the legend, the exciting white. Before we get to you, Jayme, there's a new trend going on Chat GPT right now. I don't even know what it's called. Ghibli something. It's some Japanese film studio. So I put this photo from Arizona in this AI program, trying to get them to build us an image. This is what they came up with.
Wow.
Towns has not been that thin since the third grade.
Towns is slim.
That looked like me in high school.
That hoodie is dead on fucking point.
Oh,
And
God.
so I told the Chat GPT this. I don't want that.
Damn, G looks like Kanye.
Yeah, it's either Malik or Kanye.
Look at him over there.
And I'm an Asian fella. So we had him do it again.
Damn.
And G,
Why I look older than you, Ryan?
that's a great point. And I think it's one worth visiting. But
Damn.
when did Towns became a TV sitcom dad all of a sudden?
Facts.
So that did not work out.
You became Harry Potter. No, you
I-
didn't. I'm on your ass. You became Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Look at that. Killing it. All right, Jayme.
So there's your
What's
choice:
up?
Asian or Harry Potter.
Well, whatever. Jayme, what do you have on Purdue? What do you think about this team?
I don't think they're bad. I've seen
They
a
have
lot
11
of people.
losses.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that think it's going to be a blowout. Playing in Indianapolis, we all know about that. But they're a little better on film. I haven't really watched them a whole lot this year. But they do have a Naismith final, player of the year candidate. So Braden Smith, their point guard, really, really crafty player, 3-level scorer. He's legit. I had even last year when they had Edie, I just didn't watch Purdue a ton, but he is a lot better than what I expected. But
Can he guard Milos?
He could probably hang with him. But I thought the same with Nimbart last game, and to me they're similar players, and they're pass first. He averages about 8.5 assists per game. But yeah, if you just looked at him, you would think, no, he's not very athletic, but he is a little sneaky athletic.
Nimbard, number 1 in the country in assists. Braden Smith, Purdue, number 2 in assists. And a potential team you see Sunday, Ziegler, 4th in assists. I mean, that's a hard road for your Cougars.
Yeah.
He's a really solid competitor. I am impressed with this kid, CJ Cox, they have. He was one of the most under-recruited guys in the country. Didn't have any major offers. I think his biggest offer was UMass. And here he is in his first, he's a true freshman, but he's 20 years old. And so I want to figure out how they're doing that.
What?
Yeah.
That ain't that honest. Shit.
Well, I mean, who knows
Prep
if they're
school
going to like prep school and repeating a grade. Louisiana, when I was a kid, everybody, all the real athletes were held back a year so they could become physically
That still
more
wouldn't make
mature.
you 20.
Well, I learned yesterday
March.
watching the McAfee show yesterday. Derek Queen was on there, and McAfee asked him, so what are you? You're 17, 18? He goes, oh, no, I'm 20. And I was like, wow. I didn't even realize that. But
I didn't know that either.
yeah. But yeah, Cox, he's a 3-level guy too. He doesn't really just jump out to you when you watch him, but I mean, he's shooting 40% from 3, can get to the rim. So yeah, he is a sneaky good player as well.
And there's another guy. His name is Fletcher Lawyer. His dad was in the game for 100 years. I think he still is. His brother played at Michigan State. He is a legit shooter.
Yeah.
Like Milos, or not, LJ level, kind of good, right?
But didn't he play for a different school prior to Purdue or no?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
He
They're
must have had a brother then.
He did. His brother played at Michigan State and maybe
That's what it
Davidson.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what. Okay.
But their entire roster, or at least the guys that play a bunch, are all high school guys. That is not a portal program.
Yeah,
And
they had like it was like this little college basketball Twitter page, and they all posted the Sweet 16 teams, the starting five, their original schools. And the original starting five for Purdue, they were originally, it was P, like it was all originally Purdue guys. So that's a good advantage that they have, in towards their program.
I thought it was funny that Michigan has more Texas Tech guys than Texas Tech.
I think I read that on Purdue, I think 10 of their guys are even from Indiana, like from the state of Indiana, which is
wild.
crazy.
Most of them are, it looked like private school academy guys, which I don't know. I mean, that's legit high school basketball. They've got the last two Mr. Indiana basketball in first, and then Braden Smith. Maybe not last two, but two in a row.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to Lawyer, he he's a 45% 3-point shooter. So,
I mean, that's where LJ is in the last 2 months.
If you can get him to put it on the floor before he shoots it, his percentage goes way down. But if he's just a catch and shoot guy, I mean, it's pretty much automatic.
Yeah.
LJ was really bad at Kansas, which was 2 months ago yesterday. Since then, he shot 46% from the floor and 45% from three, which is wild. He's made 58 threes in 17 games. Wow. So that's 3.5 a game. So I went with my little sheet with this information and talked to him about it, and he was like,
I don't know if I'm allowed to ask this, but so what advantages do y'all think we have in this game? Because it's not like they have Zach Edey in the post.
Right. They've got big guys. They're not athletic.
Purdue always has great positional size.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's always been something against teams who have good positional size. We always do well against them because they can't keep up with our mobility. So it's what, since they're so top heavy, and then their big man, he's not a Zach Edey. We can all agree on that. So it's what advantages do y'all think we have going into this game?
He's not a Zach Edey, and he's also not the big guy from Gonzaga that could step out and shoot the three. He's pretty good at the free throw line, catching and shooting there or making a move from the free throw line. He likes to get it in that right hand where, I think I posted on Twitter during the game that the two Gonzaga bigs were giving us trouble because when Jayme was guarding them, he was forcing them right. But when JVR and JoJo were guarding them, they couldn't figure out that they had to go to their left hand to score, and that's where they were getting their points in the paint. But this guy's all right hand, so I don't think that
all right hand and also not a scorer.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I would play through the paint early and see what we can get. I would feed J1 and even JoJo on that little pick play that we run for him to get him in the middle of the paint. I think that could be there.
I think that's going to be the plan, is to play through the post to start this game. They are 299th in pace. Their half-court offense just feels like it plays right into our defensive style.
That's the thing. Whenever you're playing against a good defensive team, it's always best if your play style is fast, because the defensive team won't be able to set up their half-court defense. Whereas if a team has to beat us every possession against our half-court defense, it's not impossible. I'm saying that's going to be hard to do. And it's just we have a great system in place, and I don't see how that can be Purdue's game plan.
Yeah, I think our biggest strength is just the fact that we are so quick. we take up so much space, and we're on the ball faster than other people realize we're on the ball.
Yeah.
And our ability to take away lanes and still cover what looks like somebody's going to be open. I mean, it always looks like a man's open across court.
Yeah.
And so you see people make that pass all the time, and we close it down quick. Either E-Man's back there or Malik's back there.
Even
And just taking that the other way.
But it's like also, I think that I think by this team, because the SEC, they have 7 teams in the Sweet 16, right? I think that by this team not having any experience against us, that they might think that certain things may be open on film, because film only tells half the story.
Right.
But I just think that's something that plays to our advantage, because let's say if this was Arizona that we were matched up with in the Sweet 16, they know what to expect because they've endured it several times. Whereas like this team, they might not know the intensity that they're going up against.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think also, I mean, we've got really good 3-point shooters, but I think where we can really hurt them bad is all these guys can shoot great, even better from 12 to 15. And then also that floater going through the middle with Milos. You can make a killing on those. If you can get to the elbow, it's done.
Yeah. And it should be there. I think Coach Sampson was talking to Galen the other day about drop coverage, and that's how they defend. So I think Milo should be able to get in the paint a little bit and get his little floater going.
That's what I'm saying. I know whenever, like, let's say you make a bracket, you fill out the bracket thinking that every team is going to play their best on any given night. But it's like, I really do believe we have such a versatile style of play that no matter how you play us, there will be an answer for it. And I'm not saying we're the best thing since sliced bread, but it's just like if you're in a drop coverage, you're opening up the paint to guys who are comfortable in the paint.
Right.
And if you're switching, you're susceptible to taken advantage of off the dribble. And if you're hedging, you're opening yourself up to weak side threes. So it's just like, it just doesn't really matter how you guard us.
Right.
Because we have an answer for every type of defense.
Yeah.
When in Gonzaga, they really made it a point to get out there and hedge on that pick and roll. And that opened up the paint wide open for Jayme, and he just feasted down there for the first, scored 6 or made 6 buckets quick.
Yeah, the first 8 to 10 minutes, he was unstoppable.
Yep.
Before the NCAA tournament, Purdue had lost 6 of their final 9 games, most predicting an upset. The high point, maybe. They do have 11 losses. They did struggle down the stretch. They lost to, I believe, Marquette and A&M and Ole Miss. They beat Alabama. They had a really solid non-conference schedule. They beat Maryland early on, I believe, too. So they have beaten some teams, but when it's been time, they haven't gotten it done.
That November glory.
Yeah. Well, hey, there's national titles in November. All of you can go to hell. This is gold, referring to that AI. Galen Usher.
Hell no. No.
Walmart Daniel Radcliffe. I will take the Walmart version. Give me that generic stuff. I'll take that all day. Is that Harry Potter?
Timu Potter.
Timu Potter. Mic drop G. Wasn't that good. He said meaner things. CJ Cox screams X Factor for sure. Could be the other guy that steps up. Just from the little I've seen, I don't watch any Big Ten basketball because who cares? But I've been impressed with him. I think he could be an X factor.
I think he's more of an X factor when
but
other guys are having success.
Yeah, you better make sure Malik's not on him because
if their point guard is comfortable and he's able to make plays and get guys in certain situations, then he has the ability to be an X factor. But if you make life hell for that point guard, everything goes through him.
Yeah.
So if you make life hell for him, it'll be hard for an X factor to have an impact on the game because the X factor is dependent on the head of the snake.
Yeah.
Okay, time for some quick question and answer. These are going to be mostly for you, Jayme, but anybody else that wants to chime in. How do you compare Braden Smith to Ryan Nimblin?
Similar. He's a touch taller, not a whole lot. Yeah, maybe. He's really good passer. So I don't know that they've seen anything like the blitz this year. That kind of worries me a little bit. Whereas Monster, I think we can monster their bigs, put them in hell. But he's a good passer. So we would just have to communicate really well if we're going to blitz him for sure.
I'd say, go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
He's just a guy that's just comfortable with the ball in his hand. He's comfortable making plays. So, and if that's the way that his team is fed, you got to get him out of that. But him and RJ Nimbar, they're the predominant ball handlers. Everything goes to them.
Yeah.
Is Purdue still doing drop coverage? And if so, do you think they'll actually utilize that against U of H and shooters?
Yeah, in the game that I watched them play, they were still drop coverage. So like I said before, I think Milos, can make some plays in the paint. Jayme could catch at that free throw line, make his little, it doesn't have to just everything be in the post with Jayme this game. He can have a little more freedom to run that play that he almost gave away to us a few weeks ago when he was on here, the name of the play, and y'all stopped him. But I think he wanted to call it 52 dive or something like that, where he catches it and he can make his own play in the paint.
And also, I think that's why Purdue recruits those big ass centers, so they can play drop coverage. You got 7-4 at the rim. It's like shit,
Yeah.
Their paint protection isn't the greatest, so Juwan might have himself another game. Galen, from your experience, how long in the game before our initial shock wears off, meaning how it's so difficult for teams against U of H at the start?
Well, that I'd say that might work against teams who know that they may not have a chance. So in my experience, that shit didn't work against Kentucky. They were expected to win, so they didn't come out with a like any type of timid energy. They came out with the "We are Kentucky" energy, So, but usually, whenever you need time to settle into a game, it's probably just a matter of possessions. Like I remember, whenever we played Ohio State. And I remember we were all talking, like at least me and my teammates, we were just talking about our pregame jitters and whatnot. And then once the first few couple of possessions, and we only had jitters because we'd never been on that stage, but once the first few possessions had passed and we saw those guys, they weren't able or willing to go to the extremes that we wanted to go to win, we knew we had that game in the bag. So it's just a matter of a few possessions.
The game line is now 8.5, which we thought it would come down to the 4 or 5 range. I still think it'll come down. I don't know if it can come down that much. Should you double Kaufman-Wren early, Jayme?
Yeah.
That's their big, right?
It is, and yeah, I would definitely monster him for sure, because he gets a little panicky when there's a lot of people around. So he might be the type that would turn it over or force a bad shot. So yeah, I think we'll definitely monster him early.
And it's also more beneficial to double guys like who aren't as comfortable with passing out of the post. That's why like monstering Hunter Dickinson, you may have some success, but you may also give up some weak side threes because he's so comfortable with the ball in his hands and he's so comfortable against pressure. So, but doubling guys who aren't as as comfortable with the ball in their hands is always a plus.
I think
thoughts on. Go ahead, Brad.
I think one of the things that we do best is we force people to make quick decisions.
Yeah. Now that everybody's used to that, for sure.
Yeah, they're not used. They're used to being able to kind of get into the flow of it. And if they face pressure, maybe just on the ball, but they don't get swarmed, from multiple different directions. And so you speed up that decision making, and then that's when you get into making errors, and then they try to start making up for it, and then it compounds, and that's when we usually pop off like a 12-0 run.
For sure.
Why would anybody watch Big Ten basketball? That's a good question. I certainly try not to. Thoughts on Matt Painter's coaching? I don't really have any thoughts on this, but if y'all have anything, go for it.
He's probably a top 10 guy. I think a lot of people think he's a top 5. I'm not sure. I'd say he's just a top 10, just above average coach.
I mean, he's solid.
Y'all tripping.
Well, I'll tell you this: but for Edie, they wanted him run out of town before Edie went deep last year. What were they, the runner-up? I mean, they knocked out in the first round the year before. I mean, they were kind of bouncing around, win a game here, get to the Sweet 16. I think they'd mix in a few Elite Eights, but I mean, they've been solid, but nothing special in the postseason. Really, really good in the regular season, but in the postseason,
I don't know. I just think it's unfair to hold someone to only postseason success.
Agreed.
And he's been a 1 seed multiple times. He's had more than a winning record in the Big Ten multiple times. So it's like, I think the world of his coaching, because you're going against other Power 5 teams night in and night out and it's hard to win those games because everybody's getting up to play your team. So I have super respect for Matt Painter. For sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. I do too. I think that's why I've got him as a top 10 guy. I mean, I just think I could think of 5 to 7 coaches that are probably a little bit better than him.
Well, let me quickly. I want y'all to go through Brad, Jayme, Galen. Would you have Pitino ahead of him?
Yes.
Which one? Rick?
Yeah. Well, not Richard.
I'm just
Rick Pitino.
Recency bias. Would I? 100 times and twice on Sunday. Hell yeah, I have Rick Pitino.
And Kelvin Sampson?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would I have Rick Pitino ahead of Kelvin? Coach Sam?
No. These are ahead of Matt Painter.
What's the standard?
Better than Matt Painter.
But it's like Matt Painter's he's been a force in the Big Ten. We've been a force in the Big 12 for 2 years and a force in the American. Matt Painter's made it to a title game. But I say Coach Sam.
Yeah, he has 5 regular season Big Ten titles, which is impressive. But
that's a lot of heavy hitters.
Yeah, but has won Final Four in 20 or so years. Had a couple Elite Eights, or Sweet 16s. Bobby Hurley, 2 titles. You got to put him ahead of him, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Mark Few,
for sure.
Oh yeah.
Izzo,
For sure.
Yep.
okay. Scott Drew,
No.
Yep. I do.
no. Okay. Brad,
Yep.
okay. Bill Self,
Yes.
Yep.
Pearl,
Yep.
Yes.
Nate Oates.
Oh no!
Yep.
Yes.
Oh shit!
It's close on notes. It's close on notes, but
Yeah, I agree with that. I think
Barnes?
Oates
Yeah.
probably behind him. Rick Barnes is on my list.
I like
Rod-
Payne more than
yeah.
Barnes.
Rodney Terry.
Absolutely not.
It's
Oh,
a
okay.
tough.
I didn't know if we were going that far. So
Hey Ryan. What
Yeah.
what about your boy Ron Hunter?
Ron
He's,
Hunter, we already talked about.
North Texas. I
yeah.
missed it, but I am pumped for my guy to go to North Texas.
Got 4 more years. And Calipari, I didn't even mention him.
Yes.
You got to put him in that conversation. So Matt Painter, maybe top 15, top 20.
Yeah.
But
that was like 9 though.
Patino, Sampson, Hurley, Few, Izzo, Drew, Self, Pearl, Oates, Barnes.
I ain't say no. I ain't say Oates.
Well, this ain't about you, asshole.
But it's like, what is Nate? What is Nate? What is Nate Oates? What is he?
I agree with you on Nate Oates.
Yeah,
you and I are on the same
think that was a
page.
majority decision.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
So he's
6,
10.
7, 8, 9. John Shire is out there.
Fuck
Could
no.
be. Okay.
Too new.
Yeah, the guy Golden at Florida, a little new.
No.
No.
I mean,
Top 10.
All right,
Yeah,
Galen.
in that
Galen.
area.
Mick Cronin.
No.
I
Nowhere
like
close.
Mick, but nah,
Yeah, but he's nowhere close.
I love Mick. I love Mick though, man. I love Mick. I love Mick. Mick is a real guy for sure.
I think
For
Mick is
sure.
going to get a job, depending on what Kevin Willard does at Maryland. That could open some opportunities for him. So we will see. Another good option, Penny Hardaway, right there.
Well, I mean, they both do. They both have taken a lot of early exits.
Yeah, I mean,
And
if
then
that's what you're looking for, is a guy that'll get you home
I hold.
for St.
I
Patrick's Day.
hold. I don't hold success or lack of success in the tournament against you unless you've got multiple losses to
A lot of
double-digit seeds.
unsuccess. Yeah. If you're
If you're constantly going out to 12 seed, it's probably an issue. Probably an issue there.
in your career, if you
Except for
have
that
more
one time
first
you had Edie who could just stand there and
get fouled.
yeah.
If you have more first weekend exits than second weekend appearances, I don't know. Especially in like your last 10 years or so.
That was a great list, Ryan.
Thank you, buddy. I just came up with that while we were talking about it. I want to talk about the Players Era Festival real quick. This festival, Jayme went, I went. I thought this whole thing was a nightmare. I just did not like the way it was run at all. There was questions that it would even exist as late as August and September of last year. And they pulled it off, and now they want to expand it to 32 teams. And they're wanting to do this at multi-sites across the country. So you would all gather, it would be like a regional, and you would gather at a place, Dallas, somewhere, and play a couple games. And then some teams would make it to the finals in Las Vegas.
So it'd be like having
It'd
a
be like-
couple. Have like
It'd be like chopping off the first round of the NCAA tournament, basically, and start with the round of 32.
yeah, like having a simultaneous multi-team events.
Yeah, and then move it down. There is a rule that's going to be approved, I think, next week, where the season is going to go from 31 games to 32 games. When we were kids, it was 26, 25, and now we're up to 32. And if Mark Pope has his way, it'll be 40. But I don't know about this 32 team thing. I don't like the thought of playing that many games away from home. You're going to ruin these one-off games because you're just not going to be able to play them if you're playing a 32 team event, which could go 4 rounds, 5 rounds. I think you're going to do so much in the hope of getting just a bit of NIL money. But thoughts? No.
I mean, I think it's an interesting concept. I mean, I'd like to see. I mean, that they're not looking at the 32 until 2026,
which is just next year.
No, I thought it would meant.
Or I'm sorry, you have an upcoming season and then the next year.
Yeah,
I'm trying to say.
So, I mean, next year we're going to see. I guess we see how that plays out. It'll be interesting to see with more teams. Hopefully that takes care of that. Play 2 games, then wait 4 days in Vegas doing whatever, and then play 1 game and then go home. I love the idea of kind of like a kickoff tournament, kind of like in the old days when we did the Southwest Conference first pitch tournament in baseball.
Yes.
Everybody just goes to one spot, you play 2 games, and then, it's kind of a celebration of the conference or whatever. But this time it's like a celebration of kicking off college basketball. And I think every big name wants to be in those tournaments.
The teams you have next year.
Cool.
Next year, you have Alabama, Auburn, Baylor, Creighton, Gonzaga, U of H, Iowa State, Kansas, Michigan, Oregon, San Diego State, St. John's, Tennessee, Texas A&M. I mean, that's basically the entire top 20.
Yeah, I mean, is there a better group than any tournament other than the NCAA tournament in the history of college basketball?
No. Well, you've never had anything close to this big.
Yeah. I mean, is it going to just do away with Maui? And
Maui's gone. What was the tournament y'all played in, Galen, when you went to Hawaii?
We didn't go to. My group didn't go to Hawaii.
Oh, I thought y'all went to Hawaii. And was it a year after they beat Washington in the finals of that Christmas?
Yeah, I think it was.
The Great Alaska Shootout gone. The Bahamas thing gone. Everything's gone. If this thing takes over and it's gutting the rest of the infrastructure, that preseason NIT is kind of a big deal. But that's all going to be, if not gone, it's going to be crap, But maybe UT could play in that. So give them a shot. Be careful around Kelvin. It's pronounced Calipari. Uh-oh. I've always said Calipari. I think it's a calamari thing, but maybe I'm saying it wrong. I mean, I think I've always said it that way.
I'll say it the way I say it, and sorry.
Bring that heat. Let's do it. Conference schedule should be sprinkled in early December. You're dialing it back to 18. So your start date of around New Year's is okay because you're going to get a little bit of a 1-game week. Yeah. Or 2 of them. And so maybe that'll work.
When do they normally start sprinkling those off week? You're not really off week, but usually you don't play a midweek game.
Well, we don't know because you've never had a 16-team conference. So it will. I mean, like the ACC started, I believe, December 4th. The Big Ten started like December 4th. I think. Yeah. They may have started in November.
I think
the Big Ten. The Big Ten, they have like a couple of conference games, and then they have.
And then they play non-conference. Yes.
Yeah,
which is how you should do it. Maybe.
But they've always had more teams, though, huh?
Well, no, at one point they had 10.
I'm talking about in recent.
Yeah, they've had 12, 14, and now I think they're at 16. But they started Purdue had their first game. It was against Penn State. It was December 5th. And then they played Maryland, and then they played A&M and Auburn and Toledo, and then went back into conference play at the turn of the year.
Interesting.
I don't know what I would think about that. The Diamond Head Classic, that was what it was called. That's Diamond Head, Diamond something, yeah. So there you go. I told Brad that we were finishing this at 9 o'clock. We were doing 1 hour, and we're already asshole.
Totally no way that was going to happen.
All right, we should have started the final thoughts right as the show started, and that way we could get this over with. I have to be on a plane at like 6 a.m. So y'all are fun, but the games tomorrow. You have BYU playing in Newark, New Jersey, in the East against Alabama. You have Maryland playing in San Francisco in the West against Florida. You have Arizona and Duke in Newark, and you have Tech and Arkansas in San Francisco. Any thoughts on these four?
That sounds so dumb.
For people who really, really like to watch basketball with no defense,
Alabama BYU is
exactly what
gravy.
you want. You're probably going to see about
You know what's
100
crazy?
3-pointers.
BYU gonna fuck around and win that game.
I don't think there's. I think there's a legit shot at that.
But I think we only think that because we're in their conference and we're familiar with them. But I don't think the world has that same opinion.
No, they don't know.
Yeah.
There is no bigger complete prick game than Nate Oates versus Kevin. Is it Young? I can't remember his last name.
My gosh, yeah.
I mean, just total prick off. So good luck with that, Newark.
Do we think Arizona can hang with Duke?
Yeah.
They can for a while.
No, I just think that,
Y'all are gonna be shocked.
that's basically a home game for Duke. They have such a great concentration in New York City
That's true.
that you're going to be surprised. In Arizona, that's a long damn trip. But, if Brett Yormark has his way and UConn becomes a conference team, he'll be making it every year.
Here, I guess in the second half of the season, here later in the season, or late in the season, here in the postseason, Love has turned into a different player.
Yeah.
And if he
has.
can continue being that player, it's hard to write them off just because he's the guy. He's a guy that can literally fill it up. And I think Arizona hangs in there, gives them hell for a while, and then I think Duke will end up in the last 10 minutes have like 22 free throws
That's a
to
great
close
point.
out the game.
That's a great point.
They had 19 in the first half against Baylor. Baylor had 2, which is not what you'd hope for. I had Sirius on yesterday in the car going to basketball practice, and Coach K's show was on, and he actually said, it's not that the refs are for us, meaning Duke, it's that we're good at rim protection. I'm like, bro.
Mm-hmm. I mean, sure.
What?
They're really good at rim protection.
That's not how you get free throws, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Galen,
Yeah, I don't think.
Are you dumb?
I think if whistles become a factor, there's no chance that they're going to let the Golden Boy flag not be in San Antonio.
yeah.
That's just
All right,
sells
Galen.
too many advertisements.
Galen, 1 second. Koa Pete will announce his college choice tomorrow on the Pat McAfee show. He's down to Baylor and U of H and UT and Arizona State. So that'll be done tomorrow. Nobody's sweating that at U of H. Okay, you're back, Galen. I know you didn't want to be a part of that
We have a
conversation.
25% chance of landing him because he's not going to UT.
Really?
Do we want to make a prediction?
Yeah, they just got a new coach. He's not going to UT.
Well, I think that could help them quite a bit. And who are they spending that $22 million in rev share on? Not any of the guys they got right now.
He's not going to UT.
Okay, Galen says it, not UT.
What do you think,
I don't
Jayme?
have a prediction.
Arizona State.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the thought. I've talked to people, coaches, that tell me Baylor might be his best fit. But they seem like kind of an outlier in that
Yeah.
4 public big schools and then Baylor.
Here's why I say Arizona State. Everything that I've heard about him is he wants to start no matter where he is.
Yeah.
So he's not going to start over JoJo. He's not going to start over Carter Bryant if he comes back to Arizona. He might have a chance at Baylor, but I just think that he wants to go somewhere where he can be the star, and maybe him and Quaintance can team up at Arizona State and try to save Bob Hurley's job.
Didn't their big time freshman this year? Didn't he hit the portal?
I don't think Quaintance has. No, their guard has Sonnen, and I think he's going to St. John's, from what I heard.
Go get paid.
Strikes again. Big Rick.
I mean, if it came down to it, I mean, you'd love to have a guy like Poa Pete, but if you've got a spot in the post, you need somebody with experience. You need a body that has at least a year. I mean, because you've got a hole to fill there. Not as a tacked on starter, but as someone who can
impact,
who can compete, and who can get minutes. You're looking at a guy who can get 20. Because I have a feeling you're going to see some really interesting matchup, or you're going to see interesting lineups next year. So, but you could go really, really, really big.
Yeah.
If everybody comes back.
Talking to people this week, they feel pretty good about where they are with the team that they're going to have next year. They might entertain a transfer, a big, but they're not ruling anything out. They are thinking that Milos might have a better shot at a lottery pick spot than a lot of people think. We'll have to keep watching that. And if he gets it, good for him. He did exactly what he needed to do with his career. And
Quantas.
You're going to lose Quantas. If you lose him, you'll definitely bring in another guy. I mean, if all you have to show in the last, let's say, 3 years is Marcus, Jamal,
Dejan,
Milos,
Dejan
4 years ago, but I mean, you're just putting guards in the league.
Nate Henry.
That sells itself. Yeah. I mean, go back. Really, the one that couldn't get in the league was you. So, just kidding. You're my boy.
Not trying to keep opening up cans of worms, but there is another big name guard that's out there.
Here we go. Jayme loves this kid.
No, I mean, I'm just saying he is being named as having Houston in the mix. That's in the transfer portal right now, and I think that he's probably a kid from UNLV that was rumored. So yeah, D-Dan Thomas that was rumored to come here last year. I think he's probably going to wait it out and see what Milos does, but it sounds like A&M, Florida, or Houston right now are his top 3 once. So
he is running from Josh Pastner as fast as humanly possible.
Oh shit!
The one thing that I in my mind this is just
in your mind.
The you have JoJo, and then you have the guy from San Diego State, the big post from San Diego State.
Sign me up right now.
But have those two in the paint as the 4 and 5. Put CNAC at the 3, and then TA at the 2, and then
you could set a
Milo
record.
Wait, you've got it in NBA size roster or NBA size lineup right there.
Yeah, worst free throw shooting team in national history. 3 or 4 go in.
But that'd be, hey, if you're going to add a big, even though he's only got 1 year, he was extremely productive, and you could imagine seeing that's what you would call rim protection.
Yeah.
So that kid is he's a projected lottery pick.
Yeah, he's a true freshman.
Yeah, he ain't going to college. His ass is going to that league.
Maybe.
I don't know. I've already heard there's 32 lottery picks this year.
Yeah, no, they're going to set a record for that too. Rodney Terry, an assistant in Houston, no.
Fuck.
It ain't happening. You're not going outside the family. And you don't have to. That's the great thing, is that there's a lot of smart, dedicated young guys that have ties to this program, and everybody can move that one step up.
If I'm Josh Pastner, I hit up Rodney Terry.
Absolutely. Pastner, though,
well, the reason why is that Pastner's going to build through the portal. He's already talked to. I saw him in an interview yesterday, and he was just raving. He said, back when I was the head coach, I was chasing these kids as 7th graders all over the country and recruiting these kids every year. And now all I got to do is sit back and look at the portal.
It was dad.
Okay. So if you're going to in the portable, there's one thing that Rodney Terry does really well, and he recruits. He recruits really, really, really well. Not a great head guy, but has proven to be a pretty strong assistant.
Good number 2.
So that if I was Pastner, I'd be looking at that guy to go out and just do damage.
Yeah, but you're on a limited budget out there. There's just not a ton of money. I don't know. Maybe you can afford it. Maybe Rodney's
some money in Vegas.
It's a payday.
Shit.
Not for UNLV though.
Shit. Oh.
Is BYU's coach really a prick? Yeah. Good show tonight. Ryan, enjoyed your interview with Austin Armstrong. Thank you. I didn't think anybody watched. I spent some time with Austin Armstrong yesterday, following him around, shadowed him, and talked with him and Corey Platt, the linebacker that's torn both ACLs, who's back. Really excited to see what they can do. Austin's kind of an interesting guy. I'm fascinated with him. And as soon as we started, he walked over to me. He's like, I think this team can win the national championship this year, talking about basketball. And I'm like, oh, that's a smart way to start. That's gonna get on. So Towns with the Sequoia lineup. Guys that make him look small. Or we can
I could also see the 3 giants sitting at the 3-point line just hucking it from 25.
Oh, JoJo would love that. Josh Pastner feels like a day trader watching computer screens all day, chugging Red Bull.
Yep.
Since he was at Kingwood High School. That's what he's done. And his dad is great. His sister is one of my favorite players to ever come through U of H.
I wonder if he's going to wear the spit shield at Vegas.
That was one of the funniest things. I mean, no one has ever done a COVID mask like Josh Pastner. One of these, God damn it. I'm now looking at it, And he makes me laugh so much because he's just a fucking nerd. And like, I appreciate that. That's me. But he
I
makes
thought he was good. I thought he was really good on TV. I thought he brought a lot of insight.
Yeah. Go watch his video that he made on the plane heading to Vegas. It sounded like a hostage video. He was screaming really loudly like he was an old guy trying to figure out this technology. There he is, double masked. Got the regular mask, got the shield, got the hair going, and still has that top button buttoned even though he took the tie off. He is so interesting. Good guy, but just weird. Face shield Passner. There you go. Kevin Young got spanked by 31-20. Lost by 51 to Houston in 2 games. Doesn't want any more of that. So there you go. I guess that's all we've got. Do y'all have any final thoughts for what you had tonight?
Survive and advance.
Exactly. I would like it to be by 40, but I'll take it by 1. But looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun weekend.
Yep. Jayme, anything from you?
Flying out tomorrow, ready to get there and get settled in and have a good weekend of basketball. I can't ask for much more than that. So just ready to watch our guys. And I know, everybody's making a big deal about the distance, but I know the Coug Nation will come strong and be loud and, hey, survive in advance.
Galen, you got anything to sell?
Survive and advance.
Okay, nothing to sell. I think the distancing is way overblown.
Yeah.
You were in Dallas last year as a 1, and it didn't help. So I think you'll be fine. I think this is what this team has done all year. The last 15 games they played away from home, they're 15-0. So you ride with that and see how it goes. I am going to St. Elmo's Steakhouse tomorrow night. Pretty excited about that. Been hearing about this place for years. Going to check it out. I'm bringing the GoCoogs intern with me, and going to get him a kitty steak.
What is supposedly special about that? Anything? Or
it's been there for a million years, but it's apparently still pretty good, legit. We'll see.
You know what I'm having tonight, Ryan?
Popeyes, DoorDash.
You're a smart guy. He's a smart guy. Yeah, you were a smart man. I'm about to hit that Popeyes right after we done for sure.
What do you get there?
Wings and the fries, and give me a biscuit with the honey. They got some new wings. They'll knock it till you try it, brother. They'll knock it till you try it.
Yeah, I normally don't get them, but I might have to try it. They've got a 2 for 1 special on DoorDash right now.
See, I ain't knee deep into Popeyes like that, Towns. I don't know.
No, I mean I just check it every now and then because when they do stuff like they usually the one that they'll have a buy 1 get 1 free on the chicken sandwich. You get that chicken sandwich, man. That just one of them's a meal for me.
Well, shit, if it's a meal for you, then I don't want it.
I mean, literally, that chicken breast is like that big, man.
That's a big ass meal. Yes, sir, down.
Big ass man.
Surviving advance, baby. Yes, sir.
Shout out to Purdue. Shout out to the GoCoogs, the Cats crew.
You feel me?
Thank you all for watching.
Yeah,
we appreciate it. Okay. Star Pizza.
Damn, we ain't saying
Star Pizza.
Damn.
We talked about it before you got here.
Oh. Okay.
Thursday, you got pasta and wine specials. You got happy hour. Friday, you got the all-you-can-eat buffet, all 3 locations. Get you some Friday pizza before the game. Have it, just gnaw into it. Get slow and unathletic like our friends at Purdue. Thank y'all so much. Survive in advance. We'll see y'all Friday night, late night, after the game. I'll be in the locker room, Galen, Brad. Thank y'all so much for watching GoCoogs.com.